why you're not wrestling the next day or why you're not wrestling in the next round. It's like you're going to think back like, I should have just let it go, you know, and you deal with the consequences afterwards, and, you know, maybe you expend all your energy for the day, but I'd rather do that and give myself a fighting chance and keep wrestling in the later rounds or the next day than be sitting at home.
Has there been a situation like that for you that you can think of where you said, okay, today's the day I empty the tank, and you really had to go out there and leave it all out there on the mat?
You know, actually, the thing that comes to mind when you ask me that question is recently one of my international tournaments, we had a World Ranking Series tournament in Croatia, and my first match, I didn't come out as hard as I should have, and ended up losing that match to the guy who ended up winning gold, and all I could think about for the rest of the tournament, I was able to come back and get bronze, but man, if I just couldn't stop thinking about if I would have started earlier. If I would have started earlier, would that have been enough? Would it have made the difference? And, you know, you never know for sure, but those are questions that you want to have answered. You know, and I'd rather have those questions answered rather than be wondering and curious about, man, would that have made the difference? And so, thankfully, the next Ranking Series tournament I went, I was able to start strong. Every single match, start to finish, and it made a big difference.
Still able to salvage the bronze, too. So it sounds like you learned from what happened in that first match and were able to build on it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think for these guys, you know, if I'm coaching these guys, you want to encourage them to do that as often as they can, because also it makes identifying the errors and the mistakes a lot easier. It's less guesswork, and you can figure out what you need to do as soon as you get back and what areas of improvement you need to focus on, so that way you can change the result the next time you go out on the mat.
Wolak and Norman at 174.
You know, I'm honestly a big fan of Stanford joining the ACC.
Is it for strictly the wrestling purposes, or is this more of just for adding another member to the ACC? Cal, SMU also in the mix, but of course, when you get Stanford in there, you add another terrific academic institution to a conference already full with a lot of terrific academic institutions.
Yeah, you know, I think it's both. You know, I think wrestling, having another member in the ACC, I think it's great for our conference. And not just that, but also I just think, man, I love it for the ACC as well. You know, having Stanford a part of the ACC, it's great. That's a great institution, not just academically, but athletically. They do a tremendous job. They have a ton of sports that perform incredibly well at the NCAA level. And it's great for the brand of the ACC. And there's a lot of reasons why I like it. But those are just some of the few.
Of course. Did you ever wrestle against anybody from Stanford back during your collegiate days?
You know, I
put you on the spot there. I know.
Yeah. You know, I think during college, maybe once or twice.
It's a strong and proud program, though, and you're right. Adding them to the ACC is a big boom.
Great job great job getting a takedown there by Norman, by the way. He's had some really good wins, by the way.
Norman jumps ahead 3-0, 19 seconds.
I love the story of the Stanford wrestling program as well. You know, a program that was on the verge of getting cut, and then they had NCAA champion that same year. And, man, what a difference. It brought a lot of visibility. Obviously, you know, maybe not the most positive, but honestly, any visibility is good visibility in my opinion. And I think they were able to reinstate the program, and I think obviously it's great. Look at where the program's at now. They've had a tremendous year so far with their new head coach, and you know, my former teammate Hayden Hidley's over there as an assistant, and obviously I would love to see him continue to do well. So, yeah, I love the story of the Stanford wrestling program also.
So all pub is good pub is another way to look at it as well. That's the mindset.
It's that Floyd Mayweather, you know.
That's right. Go to the boxing ring. See Hayden Hidley?
Yep, there's Hayden Hidley and Chris Ayers. Hayden, obviously a Wolfpack alum, and honestly one of the most decorated guys that we've had a part of our program. You know, an incredible leader, you know, and we actually lived together his freshman year and my senior year, the year we took fourth as a team trophy. And, you know, he's as mature as it gets. You know, I think even from early on in his career, it was something that stood out about him. He's an incredible leader. He's a great athlete, and I think he's going to have an incredible career as a coach.
Just getting that coaching career off the ground already, the assistant at Stanford. As you see Norman with that 3-0 advantage. 174 consolation semifinals, mat 1. It's do or die time, got to empty the tank. And they'll reset.
Minute 28 left here in the second period. Norman with the 3-0 lead over Wolak. And riding time is not a factor. There's only 7 seconds on the board, it looks like, for Wolak.
Just that one takedown from Norman. That's the difference so far. It came out, some aggression off the bat. And here's some more aggression for just a moment, and they'll reset. Aside from that one takedown, it's been relatively even. Still kind of butting those heads, trying to make the play.
Right, right. It'll be interesting to kind of see how the rest of this period plays out. It looks like Wolak's had some good success here, riding tough on top. Oh, Norman doing a good job continuing to wrestle the position. Finds an opportunity of his own. It looks like he's about to get a reversal. If he steps over that ankle, yep. Really good job here by Norman.
Did exactly that. 5-0 advantage.
Matt return attempt and escape there by Wolak. Right in, right away. Good job. Good job defending. Great shot. Great offensive opportunity. One thing that I like to watch when I'm watching matches like this, inside trip. That was a beautiful exchange there by Wolak. Wow.
It's 5-4.
And just like that, the momentum shifts. You go from having a 5-1 lead, being in on a shot, potentially extend your lead 8-1 to now the score being 5-4. And that's what I'm talking about. You have these little moments that play a huge role in the momentum of the match that make a huge difference.
Like you said, you have to identify those moments. You have to notice when they're coming around, and then you have to take advantage of them.
Absolutely.
10 seconds, second period.
What I was mentioning earlier is one thing that I like to watch is the body language. I think it says a lot. And as a competitor, that's something that I try and pay attention to. Here goes upper body, nice inside trip. He keeps coming forward. Great job getting the takedown there. Body language is everything, you know. I think when you can see the body language of your opponent, I think it can either shake your confidence or build it. You know, if you're out there competing, the match could be tight, and then all of a sudden you see them taking a long time to get back to center, or you see them huffing and puffing with their head down. All of a sudden, you might be tired as well, but it could give you a surge of energy. It's like a shark smelling blood in the water.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Shark smelling the blood in the water. And once you sense that blood in the water, that's got to do something, like you said, kind of for the confidence. Say, okay, try and get in here and win this in the last stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think regardless whether you have the lead, whether you have the lead or not, you got to try your best to, I don't want to say hide your emotions, but you gotta be composed, and you can't really let your body language speak for you, regardless of how you're feeling. And that also goes into being a high-level competitor. And it's tough to do, but that's what you see a lot of the best guys in the ACC and these other conferences do really well.
Tied up at 5. 80 seconds, third period. Norman and Wolak trading blows.
Wolak's doing a good job backing up Norman here. Norman circling and spending a majority of these last seconds on the edge. I'd like to see him circle back to center. Nice fake, good job, keeping him guessing. That's good work by Norman. Nice shot attempt here. Wolak, if I'm Wolak, I gotta have a sense of urgency. I gotta try and capitalize here. I gotta do whatever I think I can to try and convert this. He's got that head behind the hole, and that is a tough position to be in. I've definitely been there before, and that's not fun at all. But really strategic by Norman. That's a great mat awareness. You know where you're at. You start wrestling the edge, and you use it to your advantage.
There's 42 seconds of riding time as well. Something to monitor as we are tied at 5. 174 Constellation semifinals here at the ACC Championships. Matt won.
30 seconds left. That's not a ton of time. Shot attempt by Norman. I like that Norman's continuing to try and stay offensive. But from a tactical standpoint, it could be potentially dangerous because every time you shoot, you give your opponent an opportunity to counter. And so in those moments, you got to decide, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
5 seconds.
Wow.
Great takedown.
Wow.
Wolak gets it right near the horn.
Wow, respect to both competitors. You know, Norman was still trying to be offensive. He was taking shot attempts, and it looked like, obviously, he was trying to hold on to lead. But, you know, you could argue he was trying to build his lead there. But, you know, in those situations, you got to be tactical. You got to understand the situation. Here, the short time, Wolak ends up finding an opportunity. Now they're scrambling here, short time left, and he does a great job converting at the very, very end of the third period to win the match. Really, really gritty win by both guys. And what an interesting exchange. That's not one you see very often.
Trailed 4-1 at one point in that match as well.
Almost was down 8-1. Look how exhausted he is. That was a battle. And that's one of the things that I love most about wrestling. You got to dig deep.